Sharkie Game here, and today I will be showing you the Gamester sports board for PlayStation 1 and 2. More for PlayStation 2, but it also works on PS1. Not as many features though. But basically it's here, and as you can see, the box is so long I have to actually pan the camera to see it in full. So anyway, as you can see the window there, it shows a board controller. There's some cool looking artwork, which I'll just bring up close to the camera, like a snowboarder there. And it says here, get real tricky on the slopes, half-putt or waves with the Gamester sports board for PlayStation 2. And it's got some of the characters that have skateboard, snowboard, and a surfboard. So it's basically a multi-purpose sports board. It can be used in skateboard games, snowboarding games, and surfboard games. On the top of the box, I'll just turn this around, it says Extreme Sports Controller. It's got some of the images there. On the bottom, same sort of thing. On the back, shows a bit of a close-up of the controller. And it says here, connect your favorite control pad to the hub to perform tricks. Pad not included. And it says, yeah, step 1, plug the Gamester sports board into your PlayStation 2. Step 2, load up your favorite boarding game. Step 3, step on and get tricky. Apply various degrees of pressure to accurately move in any direction. So a character there, looks like it's moving. And at the top here, it's got this line that says, the first slimline hard-wearing sports board for PS2. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting looking board. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and open this up and show you the actual board itself. Now bear with me, it is quite a big box. I have to just move slightly. So this is the board part of it. It's got quite a nice design. It's very thin, you know that. And you can see when I squeeze it, you can see those two pieces move together. That's the pressure. That's how it detects what movement you're going in. Same with the actual area here. So that's how it detects it. It's got little pads on the bottom there, little feet, stop it moving when you have it on the floor, to basically make it move less when you have it down. Put that down there so you can see it. And the other part, let's get this plastic out of the way. The other part of it is this thing. Basically, this part connects to your PS2, and then this sits on the floor next to your controller, and your normal gamepad for your PS2 plugs into there. Basically, what it allows you to do is, while you're actually moving, using this as your directional pad, you're using the actual gamepad as the way to perform tricks in whatever particular game you're using it with. So that it works really well in that regard. On the side here, it's got your joystick and D-pad mode, so what type of mode you want this to actually be detected as, and also sensitivity, so how sensitive you actually want it. So it's got 1, 2, and 3 levels. That you actually change depending on how sensitive you want it, or how strict it. And of course you've got this button which basically allows it to detect the board or not. So you can just press that if you don't want it on, and that'll turn it off, and it'll just allow the gamepad to be used. So that's part of it. Of course the main feature here of this board itself is the board. Try to get all this cable out the way so you can see it properly. So this is the board. Now it's actually quite a small board, so if you're sort of a bigger person, maybe a bit bulkier or heavier, it probably wouldn't be the best board to use. It is pretty sturdy, and I'm not sure exactly what the weight limit for it would be, but it's a pretty sturdy board, but it's very small in terms of compared to how you stand on it. Now I've tried this board out with a couple of different games, and I've found that it does work, but with this particular board, because I have other sports boards that I've used as well, this board, it does pick you up pretty easy, but the only problem I have with it is that for me, I'm not sure if it was just my board here, or if it was just this type of board in general, but basically it always seems to move to the right. So no matter how, if you, basically when you're in a game and you've got a board like this, if you're not stepping on the board whatsoever, your character should be still and not doing a thing. This, however, with this board, unfortunately, when you're actually not doing anything with it, the character automatically goes right, and so it ends up going in a circle. I found to compensate that, you just lean the other way, and that'll compensate and allow you to play the game fine. But it shouldn't do that in the first place. But other than that, it works alright. I found that to actually stand on this board and try to lean like you would normally do with a skateboard or snowboard, surfboard, or whatever type of boarding you're into, it didn't work as well. Like, I found it a lot harder to turn my character quickly, like especially in games like Tony Hawk, where you actually want to try and move and turn into a half pipe, or do a particular trick, or do something like that, or jumping on a rails. Actually standing on the board and trying to move the character was a lot harder than it should have been. I found the best way to actually use this board is not to actually physically have it on the floor and stand on it, but have it on the floor and sit down like I'm sitting now and have your feet on it like this, and then actually move your legs like this to actually tilt the board. I found it a lot easier. Now, other boards I've used and I've stand up on them and they're brilliant to use. This board, not so much. Like I said, I ended up sitting down and using it like that, like tilting it back and forth. But other than that, I mean, it is a decent board, and if you sort of want a kind of board for PlayStation 2 that you want to play on, then this will probably do you. I mean, they are pretty cheap too, so it's not like anything very expensive. But yeah, it's not 100% accurate like it says in the actual box. But overall, it is a sports board. It is something a bit different. Different way to control your character. But overall, you know, if you plug a gamepad into this and you end up using the gamepad more than you use the board, then you kind of know that there's an issue that you shouldn't probably worry with using the board part of it. But other than that, it still works well. I was able to steal, I was able to do tricks with the gamepad in my hand while I was with the board, just not standing up too much. I did try it that way, but yeah, whatever game I tried it, it didn't seem to work as well, and it made it harder for me to compensate for that turning to the right all the time. But as soon as I sat down and put my feet on this one, it worked perfectly. And also, that's a good way to do for lazy gamers, you know. If you're lazy, sort of like me, doesn't really want to stand up and play a game, you sort of want to sit down and sort of cheat it, then that's a board for you. But yeah, overall, pretty cool thing. A different way to control your boarding games. Made by Gamester, so quite a well-known company. Makes all these type of controllers like this. They do have another board, like a blue type one, which I haven't actually got yet, but yeah, I'd like to get that down the line and see if that's any better than this one. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll have heaps more videos up shortly. I'm Sharkie Gamer, and if you like this video, press that like button and leave a comment below if you would like to. Thanks again for watching, guys.